Yes, you said they're referring. Just, yeah, yeah. Thank you. Okay. Bonnie, is it recording? Excellent, thank you. All right, I call this June 14th meeting of the Planning Commission to order. So the agenda, it sounds like number 4, we're deferring at the applicant's request. Okay. Do you have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Adoption of the minutes. Any questions or comments on the minutes? Yes, you do. I'll make a motion to approve both sets of minutes as written. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Thank you. All right, on to item number 1. That's the Hope's Corner.
I can never get these things to turn on. Oh, that side, the other side. Okay. All right. Preliminary plat tonight, our only preliminary plat tonight is Hope's Corner. The applicant is JCM Corporation. The owners of the property are Lynn H. and Mike Smith. You'll see here the property is at the southeast corner of Mount Gallant and Shiloh Roads, just north of Highway 5. It's in District 3, which is represented by Robert Winkler. The parcel itself is 41.93 acres, and it's zoned RUD. This is the preliminary plat that has been approved by staff and submitted for consideration to the Plan Commission. It consists of 23 lots with 8.42 acres of common open space, which is about 20.08%. The requirement is 20%. So it does meet requirements for open space. I clipped it out and showed you the actual property lines, make it a little clearer, easy to see. To me, that little divot there below the lots and above the wet pond looked like it was part of the preliminary plat, and it's not. It's actually a neighboring piece of property. So phase 1 of the lots are against the roads, Mount Gallant and Shiloh. Those are lots 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I believe. I lost track there. Phase 2 are the lots that are coming in off of Hope's Corner Drive. You'll see that they have some amenities per the new open space zoning code. And I'm showing on the pointer here, there is a space between lots 23 and 22, access down to the wet pond with a fountain. There's 2 tree save areas here with the tree, they did do their tree surveys. The pathway is going to be a vegetative pathway, mulch, going down and circling the pond. And the common open space, the part of the common open space, new one said, the water retention can only be 20% of the common open space. And I did the calculation, 20% of 8.42 acres is 1.7 acres. And you can kind of tell from the neighboring lots that are 1 acre that the pond does meet standards. I'm gonna go through the findings. For number 1, the site will be serviced by private wells and private septic systems as indicated by note on proposed plat. So all the proposed lots meet or exceed the minimum 1 acre as required by RUD. So they'll need written statement of approval from SCDOT or for individual wells and septic tanks for each lot as required before they can go for final plat. For number 2, single family residential is an allowed use. The RUD zoning district does not require a maximum density, but the development has a density of 0.54 homes per acre. And a TIA has been completed. It was a Tier 1, and no mitigation is required at this time. For number 4, the development is partially bounded to the north and west, restricting development in those areas by SCDOT maintained roads, and this low-density style development does not require internal sidewalks. And then the required open space and buffers, the 20% open space is provided and required due to the location of the parcel within the urban services boundary by the open space ordinance change adopted back on February. And before that ordinance change, no open space would have been required at all in this development. And then the number 6, a tree survey of the required tree save areas has been completed and accepted by staff. And then upon further review of the preliminary plat, staff has some recommended conditions of approval. So number 1, a pedestrian path, non-paved, same as the other path with vegetative mulch, connecting lots 1 and 3. Those are the lots on Shiloh to the north, on Mount Gallant to the north. Connecting them down to the amenities in the bigger open space with a path. So it would be constructed down through, there's a space between the lots and the neighboring subdivision. They can construct a path to actually have connectivity for all the lots. And then the gazebo area between lots 22 and 23 could be improved with landscaping to create more of a pocket park, more of an amenitized gazebo instead of just a structure. And then our third proposed condition would be the open space and its amenities, which are shown in phase 1, the large open space, must be installed, including the pedestrian path from condition 1 that would go around the east side of the property, be completed before the 5th certificate of occupancy is issued by Permit Services. So, and I'll go back to preliminary plat, one that's easier to read a little bit. Does anybody have any questions for staff?
I did have one question. One thing I noticed in the analysis section, it reads, the proposed single-family residential subdivision is mostly consistent with the comprehensive plan, but I didn't see anything where we called out where it was not consistent.
It's, again, RUD is meant to maintain for agricultural uses. It's not currently being used as agricultural land, except for occasional hay. So we are not infringing on the agricultural use of the land, but we are creating a large lot subdivision, which is also allowed by RUD.
Okay.
What is the kind of dotted area in lots 22 and 21? It's a little kind of kidney thing above the pond.
That is tree safe area.
So the tree save goes into those lots?
There are not that many trees. It looks like there are plenty of trees, but it was timbered about 15, 20 years ago. So most of the trees, especially where the wet pond area is, are scrubby and small, not worth saving. So we had our new landscape architect, Peter Kosicki, go out there and take a look. And he determined that these are the trees that are most worth saving. And he was able to do analysis to find them. So these trees will be saved. They are not allowed to be cut down in the clearing of the properties.
But once somebody purchases that lot and builds a house 2 years down the road, it's now on their property, can they cut those trees down?
No, ma'am. But they will also have to get a septic permit before they can build also. So that's why we have the caveat in that they do have to have their wells and septics before they can create the lot. So that's a fail-safe on that.
Those two are going to be challenging. Okay.
Yeah, it can be done.
Will those have a deed restriction or an easement?
It'd be shown on final plat.
Do we have any further questions of staff? Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve with staff conditions as noted.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? No? Okay. All in favor? Item 2, rezoning 21-09.
Okay, rezoning case 2109. Antonio Wade is the applicant, 5336 through 5346 Sugarloaf Lane, tax map 511000013. So the request here is to rezone approximately 5 acres from AGC to RUD. They want to subdivide the property into 2 parcels. There's 2 homes on the property right now. They're going to put a new property line and have 1 house on each of those parcels. So here's the vicinity map. So the aerial, you can see there's 2 single-family homes on, I think one's a mobile home on the property. And environmental map. Zoning in the area, it's mostly AGC and AGC1. There is some RUD nearby. Land use plan, agricultural future land use. This is just a sketch of what they want to do. In the end, it's going to be 1 house on 1 property, so that it meets the RUD standards, because AGC allows for 2 houses on 1 property. So the recommendation, so the land use plan designates the property as agricultural, predominant land uses and agricultural, farms, forestry, and very low density residential. So the rezoning request is compatible with the future land use. The rezoning will not result in development of agricultural land, anything used for farming or timbering, and the rezoning is simply to meet the minimum lot size requirements so that they can subdivide. So we're recommending approval of the request with subject to 1 condition, and the 1 condition is that they must subdivide the property so that no more than 1 primary dwelling is located on each resulting parcel zoned RUD. And that's going to need to be done within 90 days of the rezoning approval. So we will need you to approve this with or without this condition. Okay?
Are there any questions? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that it be approved with the condition.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Okay, thank you. On to rezoning 21-10. And let's let Matt step out.
Okay, rezoning 21-10, Lauren Samra and Corey Long, 1988 Hare Road in Fort Mill. Tax map, it's a portion of 738000044. So the rezoning request is to rezone a portion of the property from RD2 to BD1 for the expansion of a parking lot for their existing therapy center. This particular property was previously residential and incorporated into this parcel, resulting in the split zoning of RD2 and BD1. So this rezoning will eliminate that split parcel. Aerial map, you see there's some of the properties are in town of Fort Mill. Imagery does not show the therapy center that has already been built. The property that we're looking at the portion is off to the west here. The forested area is where the parking lot will expand. And nothing really to speak of there. So the zoning, a lot of it is already the RD2, but you have some BD1 in this area that is, it's transitioning to more of a non-residential intersection, Hare Road and the Fort Mill Parkway. So the future land use map, the neighborhood center is nearby, but this is still shown as neighborhood residential. Neighborhood residential allows for these kinds of uses at intersections. or well, major intersections, or where there's existing commercial adjacent. So in this case, you got the intersection. The proposed site plan, you'll see that the parking lot is a simple addition. There's no building addition. This is really just to improve the traffic flow. COVID has caused more people to stay in the parking lot instead of exit, and so they need additional parking. So we recommend approval of the request. As said before, this is neighborhood residential, 2 to 5 dwellings per acre, neighborhood serving commercial uses. So this is essentially neighborhood serving commercial use. And it's a split zone property that we would like to eliminate. Existing therapy center is more of an institutional use, which is not even considered in the plan, even though it is a neighborhood serving use. So, any questions?
I do see that there's some residential there around it. So in terms of the buffer and landscaping and things, what would need to be done to be, I guess, to code for that in that area?
I'm sure they would bring it up to the code requirements.
Yeah, they're showing a 20-foot buffer between that and the neighborhood. There's also, if you can go back, Brian, to the site plan, looks to be there's an easement to go to the property behind it, which is another 15 feet between that. So that 35-foot span there between that and the property next to that.
It's 20 feet plus a 8-foot fence, solid fence.
And then on the front side, like the road side, what would be required to be put in there?
That's a Class A buffer, which will be more likely
So shrubs.
vegetated.
Okay.
And when we have the construction documents come in, we'll have a landscape plan.
Any further questions of staff? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve as written.
Do we have a second? Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Okay, that looks unanimous. All right, and item 4 is being deferred per the applicant. So any questions or comments on the tracking sheet? Oh, we can let Matt.
Oh, sorry. I don't know what
Yeah,
he
Matt stepped out.
He did. He's probably up there. Me too.
I have a question about the tracking sheet. So, for example, something that we,
Do you want to, let's wait for Matt just in case he has as well.
Okay.
That's okay. Okay, go ahead. He's back.
I just had a quick question. So, for example, the things that we approved then didn't go in front of the board or in front of the council in May? How did that work? I mean, oh, that makes more sense. Yep, okay, sorry, wasn't thinking.
Any other questions or comments on the tracking sheet? All right, we'll take that as information. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make the motion to adjourn.
Do we have a second? All in favor? Excellent. Thank you very much.